And it is now time to welcome on stage Mariano J. Benito, Cybersecurity and Privacy Ambassador at GMV. Thank you very much for your presence and support, because GMV is also one of our sponsors. We continue in this morning dedicated to regulation framework, and we really want to know, how did you learn to stop worrying and love the Cyber Resilience Act? Thank you for a great title, by the way.
Thank you very much. In fact, we will go through the genuine creator of such title. If you love movies, you may have guessed why this title is inspired on. And I first want to thank Mr. Brandao, because he has made a great presentation, an overall presentation of all current and ongoing regulations that are that are now about to be published or already applicable in the market. And he mentioned a word that I have never heard of, but I love it. It's called civil land. Yeah, I come from civil land and was not aware of it, but I come from civil land, and I would love to share with you some ideas that we learned there and can be applicable in the space sector. Because, as you have mentioned, I came from GMB. I guess you all already know many of the activities that GMB conducts in the space, aerospace, and defense fields, but we also work in other fields. This is my case. I've been a cybersecurity guy in the last 30 years. I can say that I've been working in cybersecurity since the last millennia. Well, not big problem, being just in the switch. And I was able to build a career analyzing risk, analyzing cybersecurity issues around many sectors, including space. I've been the CISO of a company for 18 years. I've been successfully survived a lot of incidents, and I was the guy who pushed the button when the COVID crisis appears, and I have to take the measures with the approbation of all the committee. So I think that I have some things to share with you, and the first one is my adoration for this guy, who is the creator of the title, of course. This guy was a premium cinema. Unfortunately, he died. Stanley Kubrick, you may guess it. But he was, what I love most of this guy is, he was a visionary. He was able to say and to project now, 50 years ago, what may happen in the future, just the same way Jules Verne did 100 years ago. So he did a great number of great films, but I would like to stop in three. The first one is Clockwork Orange. That is a very rough vision of what people may happen in the future. I don't know if we are exactly in that world, but we can see that he was able to see what may happen with some behaviors in our people. I would love to say that he was a visionary in artificial intelligence on 2001 and Space Odyssey, but I would love to stop on Dr. Strangelove. Well, thanks God, he was able to predict that what may happen in a nuclear war. We haven't seen that scenario, but he was able to predict also what happens when devices fail. If you know the drama for the movie, at some point there is a key decision that must be projected and communicated to all people in the field, but one device fails. This is the CRM-114, and since this device fails, and was not subject to proper relevance, the right decision was not communicated, and in the movie, the nuclear bomb falls, and there's an explosion, and the film is over. So right now, we have a different devices that is failing. Yeah, that nice toy computer you buy for your kids or for your nieces and small people. And, well, you say, okay, this is very instructive. He can learn IT. He can be familiar with human-to-machine interfaces. Hey, that's great. But at the end of the day, what we see is that this toy is not strictly a toy because he has undocumented features. He can pose to privacy concerns There have been reports that some of the devices can sorry, don't find the word now, can take pictures and can record conversations and send them anywhere without your consent and without your knowledge that this is happening. So in the end, you see that this apparently innocent toy is posing us for some risk. He has security vulnerabilities. He's getting into our lives. You are not sure that he can bear intellectual property. And in the end, this has much to do with one thing, is that I was buying a toy. I don't know that I was buying a security device. It looks like a toy. I buy in the toy sections of my supermarket, but it's not a toy. It has some additional features. And this can be surprisingly, but this was the trigger that goes and that make the European Union aware of there was a problem. The problem is that we have products that use security IT features, software, hardware, and many other features that are very interesting and that provide us with extra value, but the manufacturer, under the European Union opinion, is not happy, is not taking enough care of the cybersecurity of these products. This is the point. Why you, manufacturer, why you, the maker of this product, why you don't care about the security? Second point, well, even when you care on the functionalities and you comply with them, assuring they are sure, there's no problem on that, then you will find that you have to be care through your product when it's in use, no until the moment it's sold. Because you will be using the product and something may happen in the future, and you will have to support your customer, providing them with extra features to assure that this, that was not a security risk for your family, now it doesn't become one. And third, we have to make our people aware that, cybersecurity is everywhere, as Mr. Prandao said. This is a completely transversal issue. It's not a business issue, it's not a governmental issue, it's also a society issue. We have to face cybersecurity in all phases. So this is where CRA begins, the Cyber Resilience Act. By the way, this is a screenshot of the preamble second in CRA. So didn't invent, just put rectangles on some of the part. And this goes to what is a digital product with digital elements, which is a product that may include these features that are concerning for the European Union. And this means that it can have software, it can have hardware, or it can also take information and move elsewhere for a remote processing process. If you take this definition as it is, you will find that even this device is a digital product, this projector is a digital product, this camera is a digital product. Anything, most anything has some kind of IT or IT power features right now. So most of the things we use in our daily life is a digital product. And there have been many incidents around toothbrushes and other elements that I will not mention here because there might be kids anywhere. So we are surrounded by digital products. These digital products are not as safe as the European Union would like to know. So let's move and put some effort on that. This is the list that Mr. Brandao also presented to you of all the devices that are already identified as subject to CRA. You can see that we have browsers, okay? So I can't browse through the internet safely. We have routers, we have root managers, we have wearables. Many would say, okay, right, this is important for society, but what happens to me? I work in the space sector. This is not so concerning for me. But if you go ahead and look at which elements are inside our systems, you will find that many of them are already embedded in them. So CRA is concerning for us because we are using digital products, we are building digital products, So at the end of the day, we have to take care of CRA. And just as a summary, if you look at the plane, if you take a plane just today to go home, or you take an Uber or a taxi, just make a count. You are completely surrounded by digital elements. Some may say, as Mr. Branda also said, I love his presentation in many places, that, well, this can be something that is already by NIS2. Unfortunately, it's not. NIS2 applies to entities, and it's much more concerned on fixing things that are broken. So when an incident occurs, you have to report and to fix the incident. Of course, you have to do some extra care on the preventive side, but it's more from the organizational point of view. And it's a directive, so you have to transpose to each local legislation, and well, there might be some difference between them. CRA is an act, so it applies to products, not to entities. Any entity can have 1,000, 100, tens of products. Each of these products is subject of CRA. The entity is not, the product it is. And the focus is not on fixing things, that is much better focus on preventing to fix anything and report when anything should be fixed. So it's the preventive part that goes ahead and provides us with new patches and new security features and fixes things that, well, first version of this product that it was on the stores was not as secure as we thought and needs some update. So this is what CRA comes into place. No matter you are subject to NIS2 or not, with maybe you are also subject to it, you have to take care in your products for CRA. So let's make the decisions on that point. Hi, Mr. Peter Sellers, good to see you. The timeline was already presented. The final date is 2027, but there are some intermediate milestones that need to be taken care of. The first one, some of the questions, some question in the former presentation was around where the profiles were to be available. The date is December 11th this year. There are now a very active working group working on which is the technical description of the categories of product. There is which is a router and which is what are the characteristics this router may have and which is the security features the router may include. This will be available by December 11th. Next milestone is June next year. This is where the conformity bodies will be named. This is the people that will be able to produce certifications that can be applicable to our products. And these people will produce this information of other people. Of course, these people are already working in achieving the accreditation to produce the certification, but we are one year before this date. The next one is a very, very significant one, September 11th, 2026. This is the first moment in which will be mandatory for any manufacturer to report any vulnerability they found. That is, if I produce, if I have a product and I find that my product can be hacked this or this other way, I must fix it, of course, but I also have to report to ENISA. And ENISA will publish this vulnerability and will make this vulnerability and the information available to all the CERTs and incident response teams around Europe, so we are all able to have an answer to this problem before it is known because someone attacked someone else, and we all have to react in the very moment. So this is a key milestone at CRA. And the last, of course, December 2017, it will be fully applicable in all instances. This has a meaning and has consequences because right now, this is the flux we created to analyze whether a product is subject and how it's subject to CRA. Well, it's not the simplest in the world, of course. Because we are in the transition mode. In 3 years, it will be a completely strong line. Everything will be included. Right now, there are differences between discontinued products, legacy products, which, by the way, some of our products in the space segment can be considered as legacy, but some others not. Mr. Rondau consideration about we know how long are our roadmaps for our products, and we can see if we will be able to have the products finished and published by December 27th or not. We have to discuss what are the solutions on the products that we are currently using, and what we have to do with new versions of products, with new products, and of course with customer off-the-shelf products. The stronger the threat, the more concerning the CRA is for that product. So take into account that this will become red and more red over the time. We're still enjoying the peace of not being fully applicable, but there will be. We are not that far from being sorry, not my mistake in English. Sorry. We are close to the date in which every one of us will be responsible for applying CRA to their products. So take that into account. And of course, one last question. This is not version 1 of this Flux. It took us at least 7 different iterations until we all agree that this was their final result. So it's not a simple task to analyze how to best address CRA in my current products or in my future products. Do take care on that. Don't make any mistake thinking that this is simpler and we can fix it on the line and it will take a couple of working weeks. No, it will take longer. So which are the responsibility in CRA? The key responsibility here is the manufacturer. The manufacturer has to assure that their products they are manufacturing comply with CRA, comply with each and every of the requisites in this act. So the key points here are clause 13 and 22, and these people has to assure anything that goes after in this presentation, because there are those requirements. But you may say, okay, I'm not a manufacturer, I just buy products from someone else and sell to someone other people, so I'm not manufacturing anything. So I'm free from CRA. No, I'm afraid you're not. You may be an authorized representative. I mean, you sign an agreement say, okay, I'm going to sell your product, and that's all. You can be an importer because you don't sign any agreement, but you buy things from outside the European Union and bring it there. Maybe this is the case for the store who sold out the toy computer, and also you can be distributors. The point here is that in the very moment you take anything and build something extra on that, you become a manufacturer. If you have a toy, the toy computer, and you build something around it, and you have a new product, then you become a manufacturer with a cost inside, but you become a manufacturer. So over and over, you will see that this CRA Act goes to the very root of your activity, and you have to be very caring on what you are doing in every case. Next, well, this is the list of requirements. I would love to spend some time reading them all. Just see, they're secure the full configuration. It's not security by design, it's security by default, more or less. You have to assure incident impact control, assure functionality, logging. I mean, anything. Those are very common to that 85 of common requisites you have in your presentation. I may discuss the number 80. I heard the figure of 75, but it's a high figure in any case. This information is available, so I won't spend much time on that. But it's not about the product, it's also about the way you build the product. So you need to conduct a risk assessment on your product, not the classical risk assessment saying I'm going to be hacked this or this other way, but how people is expected to use my product. Some years ago, we built a system, and the system allows us to upload some files because we need to collect some information. And at some point, one of the guys in the development team asked, what if someone gets some intellectual property protected content and use our platform to move these videos, these pictures from place to place, would be guilty for this problem. Of course, the system was not designed for that. Absolutely not. But it can be used for that purpose. This is the kind of risk assessment that CRA is asking us to conduct. Know how we build the products, but how can people use my product? Which it's way harder to identify. People is really creative. Next, you have to report the vulnerabilities, of course, report the vulnerabilities, keeping patches and patching the service and the product and keeping the documentation updated at least for 10 years and through all the lifetime. You don't sell something and forget about it. You have to keep an eye on it and updating it over and over as needed. And of course, you have to keep a very interesting feature with the security spoke. I mean, someone to get called by your customers when something goes wrong. This is something that seems simple, but think on a complex company and say, okay, this will be product manager's task. Well, Mr. Product Manager or Mrs. Product Manager will be highly focused on other issues than taking calls from consumers saying, oh, your product is not working properly. It's not simple, but must be done because consumers and the UE needs us to do so. The vulnerability management process is one of the stars in this CRA. You have to report, as we mentioned. The good thing is that the report will be published to the Cyclone Act. By many people just learned in the last month that there was something called European Vulnerability Database that has been working in the last years. The European Union did not publish the facility until, well, there was an incident in the States, and the European Union showed that they were working on this problem since years ago, so we have a solution ready to solve this issue. Very good idea, very good point for us. Demonstration of compliance, I won't spend much time, but there are 4 different ways to show that your products are compliant, but 3 of them passes to have someone taking a second look on your product and assuring that everything is in place, so no worries on that. What is much worrying is that you must be prepared for this examination, for this testing, because you won't expect your examiner to be very condescending. They are tasked with assuring that all products are good and in good standing and they comply with the security features. So this should be easy to pass if you are taking your duties in advance with the duty and duty care. So I would advise not to go to this accreditation without doing a very professional, deep work in your home, assuring that your product is secure enough to pass the certification. Otherwise, well, you will waste time, money, and not yours, also the certification's time. And this is based on something that is mentioned in several points in the Act that is called the Fully Quality Assurance and Management System. It's a nice name. What is not included in the Act is what is into this name. Our analysis needs that our analysis conduct that if you have quality management system, you have the basics, just the basics. You have to evolve and make it full quality by introducing that your quality management system is able to manage and to handle security requirements, in particular CRA requirements. When I say in particular, means that if you have to comply with more requirements, do so, because many of the profiles will ask you to do so. And then it's not a one-shot work. It must be assured during all life cycle of the product. You can't stop the day you say, this is version 1, take it, and done. That's right. No. There will be version 1, there will be version 2, and between version 1 and version 2 and ahead, you have to be taking, and you have to take care of your product. And if some vulnerability approaches, you have to report and patch. If the documentation needs to be applied, you have to update your documentation. If new users are discovered, you have to adapt to these new users, and so on. You are responsible for the product during all the life cycle, not until the product is sold. This is one key difference. And of course, if you achieve that, you will arrive to a full quality management system. And last, supply chain has been already shown up in this scenario. I support that view. We don't build our own products. We are continuously integrating a supply chain that is not a supply chain, it's a supply network, because I'm not the head of a tree and not the root, but I'm a member of a chain in which I can be client and customer for the same company in different cases. So I have to be able to understand which is my role in every case and ask for the information or provide the information that is expected from manufacturer in every relation. And of course, this has to do with another hidden elephant that we have in our rooms, that is the shadow supply chain. All these companies that are providing us with services and products, but we don't know, just don't know that we are being provided by them. So take into account this point. I would spend some extra time, but you know these phases quite well. Cybersecurity Act impacts in each and every of these stages of the life cycle of a space product. And I would like to finish with 4 takeovers. The first one is that the European Union is quite aware that we are in an insecure world with an insecure digital product. So we have to face it and to fix it. And it's no joke, not because there are penalties, they are, but because we can be hit. This is not about compliance, it's leveraged by compliance. This should be a change into your product and in your manufacturing processes, because you will require not the product to be worked, but to work safely. This requires a new mindset in the companies. They require times, they require training, they require awareness, this requires a plan. This requires years. This is something that cannot be postponed to next year. You have to launch it right now, because any day you are delayed is any day you will miss in the final stage. And after all, you will be ready. But be ready, please. We don't want to be hacked. And well, there is a final survey, but if we are a little bit out of time, which is the time, we can skip it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benito. We have 25 seconds left. And it allows us to share one question of Barbara Angelucci. She asks, thank you, Barbara, if manufacturers are responsible, how does the CRA apply to open source?
Open source has two different approaches. The first one is the, let's say, academical open source, in which we are developing things, but for the sake of developing good things and for no clear purposes, but having good things available. No worries on CRA on that point. It was one of the major changes that the legislation went through when developing, so no worries on that. The problem comes when you use open source products for your products. Then it's a third-party product you have to be responsible from. You must be responsible. So if you put open source in your product, you will ask the project to provide you with some extra information. It's not the same information and as much strict as you would ask for a commercial company, but you need that information because open source must be sure also and cannot be a source of vulnerabilities.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benito. We can applaud you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again for the support of GMV in our CYSAT 5th edition.